I really think it starts with the media. I really do. I just think, if you get, and I remember I've gone through phases in my life where my diet consisted mainly of the mainstream media. And I've not listened to talk radio, or I've not gone to conservative websites. This is several years ago. And my worldview began to twist a little bit because I don't know half of what's going on. You're just not going to get the full story. And so you start operating under certain truths that aren't true. You start thinking things that aren't true are true, and so it totally skews your decision making. It totally skews your worldview. And when you start, there's just not much more destructive, Elizabeth, than believing something that isn't true. And you can be the most sincere person on the planet. What's the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You can be the most honest, decent, sincere human being alive. But if someone's constantly telling you something that isn't true, or telling you something that's half true, which is what the media does more than anything, and you start to believe that as reality and truth, that will have dire consequences attached to it. And that's why the media is so destructive in our culture. I honestly don't believe there's a more destructive force in our state than the Anchorage Daily News. I honestly don't. It may be big environment, it may be big labor, but boy, the big environment and big labor would be helpless and powerless if it weren't for the mainstream media, the Alaska Dispatch, Anchorage Daily News, some of the TV stations in town. They would have no power if these media outlets did not cover for them and lie for them and hide. There are so many things about big labor and big environment that if you knew, you'd go, what? Well, as long as the media keeps covering that up and won't report it, then big labor and big environment has their power and their influence. Mm-hmm. When the media tells you things that aren't true, you just believe them.
And if you don't have a foundation of knowing what you believe about truth, about freedom, about democracy, it goes back to the saying, if you don't believe anything, or you don't believe something, you'll fall for anything. And so you're kind of just going to be wishy-washy. You will tend to take in and believe anything that's thrown at you because you haven't decided up front what you believe to be true.
And the problem with a lot of Americans is, it's not that they don't have a foundation, they do have a foundation, but it is one built on lies. It is the left's version of life, that you're a victim, you're oppressed, nothing's your fault. Because that is taught in school. Hollywood preaches it. The music industry preaches it. It's taught by the media. So I'm a victim, I'm oppressed, nothing's my fault. I'm entitled to free other people's stuff. That mentality is the foundation of millions of Americans because that's what they've been taught. That's all they've been exposed to. They've never been exposed to you are actually fearfully and wonderfully created. You can do whatever you want with your life. The harder you try, the more you risk, the better you'll do. That message, for some people, is like a foreign language. So to say, you have to have a foundation, I agree, but you also sometimes have to deprogram people. Because the mainstream thought in our culture today is leftism. We're victims. We're victims. It's not your fault. And that's what the media sold us, and it's a bill of goods.
A boy's born in hot Mississippi, surrounded